focus is turned on me, and I'm very uncomfortable hearing these thoughts being said about me. Let me break my own ice by saying this. So recently, Levi and I were having a lesson, and I said, this is more me than any of this other stuff that these people have been talking about, because I'm a band geek, nerd, fool, okay? I'm none of those other things. So I'm having a lesson with Levi. I'm trying to get him to use his support spot, his diaphragm, you know, the thing that helps him sound better and get high notes. And here's the only thing I could come up with to give him a piece of advice. Now I'm going to take my filter off for a minute. I go, Levi, just pretend like you're taking a big poop. That's the same muscle that you use. See, so I'm just a moron up here trying to get myself through life. That's all I really am. I want to just start by say this. There always will only be one bandmaster at Royal Oak, and that's Max Wood. The rest of us just follow in his footsteps, and we try to live up to him. And there's always only two music leaders in this corps, Ian and Max, and those of us who come in their footsteps, we just try to live up to them and the standards that they have set. I just want to say that. And it seems ridiculous to me that we're honoring somebody for 13 years of musical leadership service. Let me just share this with you, which helps me justify why you're being so nice to me. When I look at my participation in Salvation Army and music groups throughout my lifetime, many of you would have no idea about this, so I just feel like to share this with you. So it was in 1967 that I started in music ministry in the Salvation Army, which is why this year is easy for me, because it's a milestone year for me. I'm in my 50th consecutive year of Salvation Army music ministry, being in a group or something like that. So I just listed the groups that I've been fortunate to be a part of, because these groups and the people of these groups and the leaders of these groups are who have made me anything that I might have become as a music leader or a musician or anything like that. So I just want to make sure you comprehend that I was a member of the Montclair Corps Beginners Band and Cadets Band, and my mind shifts to Mary Schultz, who taught her son and I, who just had to be two big losers. You know, she stuck it out with us. Mary. So some of you know Mary. She was great. I was a member of the Montclair Youth Band. I was a member of the Montclair Singing Company. I have a brief memory about that. We did a television show. We played a silly song, Hand Me Down My Silver Trumpet. It had two cornet parts. So I think Larry and I might have been 11 or 12, something like that. And we played on the the version of Regis and Kelly, the Chicago version of that. It was just awful. But I was a proud member of the singing company. And then I, of course, was a member of the Montclair Band, which became the Norge Band, member of the Montclair Songsters, which became the Norge Songsters, member of the Northern Illinois Youth Band, member of the Chicago Staff Band, member of the Peoria Citadel Corps Band, a member of the Royal Oak Senior Band, member of the Royal Oak Senior Songsters, member of the Eastern Michigan Youth Band, member of the Eastern Michigan Divisional Band. Now, check this out. This is the only time I'm going to turn to me. So I added up the amount of years that I spent in those groups. Example, Montclair Norge Senior Band. I was in that group for 21 years. So I made a list of the years that I spent in those groups that I just rattled off to you. And I added up the amount of years, and it comes to 128 years. So if anybody's wondering why I'm retiring, that is why I'm retiring. So that's not. So that's a cumulative. I'm not 128 years old. But if you added up all the years that I was privileged to be part of those groups, that's it. Let me just talk a minute about music camp and what it's meant to me. So I'm everything that I am because of Salvation Army training. It's the only training I've ever had in my lifetime. I dropped out of college. I'm not proud of that, but I'm just truthful about it. I dropped out after 9 weeks. It was too easy for me because I was studying music, and the Salvation Army had already taught me so much more than what a freshman in music education learns, and I was bored out of my mind. I dropped out. I'm not proud of that, and I don't tell anybody else to do that. But I state that to say that the education that I received from the Salvation Army in my opinion, at least think it's equal to any degree that I might have earned. So to the music camp staffs that I participated in, which again was in Northern Illinois, Metropolitan Music Camp, Heartland Music Camp, Eastern Michigan Music Camp, and Central Music Institute. So I added up those years of service at those things, and that came to a total of 58 years of service. So that's all I'm going to say about myself, but that just helps you, I hope, understand why this 50 years of service for me, of consecutive service, with never quitting or taking a break or saying, you know, I'm just overwhelmed, I just need to get out for a little bit. I'm so glad that I have stuck it out. Now I need to say thank you to some people. So my family's the first group of people that I have to say thank you to. My mom's here tonight. Quick story about my mom. So I think I have discipline. I think she raised me with discipline, and I think that helps me. That has helped me in all my life, obviously. And I try to teach my students that too. If you don't practice, you're not going to get better. You have to have the discipline to practice, that kind of stuff. Here's an example of the discipline that I was raised with. I remember this clearly. I'm sitting in the Chicago Montclair Corps, which is a small building, 120 seats tops.